Hello painting peeps and welcome. It's Kathleen from Cos Creations. Welcome to the No Bra Zone here in Fort Myers, Florida. So last night I had a dream and a lot of times I wake up from my dreams and I have a little notepad next to me on my nightstand and I take notes. I dreamt about a painting, and if I don't write it down, I'll forget it. And we all forget our dreams, most of us, very shortly after we wake up in the morning. And yesterday and the day before, I was varnishing and finishing up a bunch of pieces that I'm taking to the Fluid Art Experience in Dallas. And this was one of the paintings, and I think this entered into my dream. And I'm going to try to put my dream on a canvas. I hope that doesn't sound silly, but we all get ideas different ways, from nature, from looking at other people's art. And this was inspired as well because before I went to bed last night, I was watching a bunch of pearl pour videos from one of my favorite people in the world, the darling Tara from Pieces of Tara. Excuse me. She came to my Patreon event that I had here last month in Fort Myers and was gracious enough to teach. And every single one of the students in our class, there were 25 of them, did a absolutely incredible pearl pour. So last night I didn't get the chance to do one because I was busy, helping out and doing other things. So last night I'm watching Pieces of Tara doing one of my favorite color combinations in a pearl pour. And then once again, my tree that I was varnishing earlier that day. I think the two kind of meshed together in my dream. So let me tell you what my plan is here. My plan is to do a pearl pour painting, hard to say that 3 times fast, inspired by darling Pieces of Tara, actually using her color scheme for a piece of art that I commissioned from her a while back that now hangs in my home. I'll post a picture of it. And do the background, and then when that dries, I've got this cool brush. Let me grab it for you. I got this from Liquitex, the Liquitex website. This is Liquitex Freestyle, and it is a splatter brush. I still have to figure out the best way to use it. I'm not sure how thick the paint should be, how thin the paint should be, but you dip this in your paint, and then you do that, and you splatter. So, Tara's pearl pour, and then I'm going to splatter to represent stars. And then I'm going to do a very large moon that I will brush paint in the center. And then I'm going to do one of my gnarly trees down from the center of the painting up into the moon. So that was my dream. That was my vision. And it was inspired by my tree and by Tara's pearl pour painting, and I have got diarrhea of the mouth right now. But anyways, I'm going to get rocking and rolling on that. So that was big fun for me. This is about 10 minutes later, and I know that it will continue to develop, but I made a few mistakes, and I'm going to point them out to you. The first mistake is I did not paint my sides before I put my base coat, the Obsidian, down. And you can see that there's very, very little paint on the side, but it does look very cool. I kind of like it. You can certainly paint your sides black. Another thing is I don't think that I poured off enough of the pour color. I should have tilted it a little bit more, but I was afraid my cells would get wonky. Tara recommended that if I wanted fewer cells in the center to make my pour over color, if I'm using the right terminology, the black Amsterdam paint, make that just a little bit thicker than the Obsidian, which was the base coat color. And that's what I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another small canvas because this was fun and I have enough paint. I'm going to add some water to my pour, or the top color, which is the Amsterdam lamp black. I'm going to paint the sides of the next canvas, and we're going to do another. But this is going to work perfectly for my dream, for my vision, with the big moon in the center and then a tree, the silhouette of a tree coming up into the moon after I use my cool splatter brush, which I'm really excited about. So if you got time to hang out, it's a twofer. Actually, it'll be a 3-fer and a 4-fer with the different phases that I'm going to do, guys. Thanks for being here. Let's get busy. Hi, guys. I'm down here on the floor and I'm getting ready to splatter. I have got my Liquitex splatter brush. Now, I did a couple of experimental splats, and I thinned my paint down just a little bit with a mist or two of water. This is DecoArt Metallics Pearl. And my little splatter brush. So wish me luck. You know what? I think I'm going to cover this part because I want my stars or my splatters to be up top. Let me get some paper. Not too much paint on your brush, and you don't take it up the brush very much. Voila! I am very, very pleased with that. Now, I stayed kind of far away because I did not want a lot of big old drips, but I'm not worried about these because this is basically where my moon is going. And I am pleased. Liquitex splatter brush, guys. Pretty darn cool. Let's move on to our next phase. Hi, painting peeps. I screwed up a little bit. I went and had lunch after I finished my background and whatnot and splattered it. And then I came back in here and got crazy jiggy with it and did my moon and started my tree. And I forgot to turn my camera back on. So I'm going to kind of walk you through everything that I did and what I used. After this dried, you saw me put down some fiber paste from DecoArt Co. And then I painted that. And then I put some carbon black on a plate. That's my palette, the little plate. I put some carbon black on my plate. And I mixed it with just a little bit of water. Even though it's a fluid paint, I like my paints to be fluid when I'm doing my trees. And I mixed a little water in it. And I used my rigger brushes, which are just a long-haired liner brush to start my tree. But before I did that, I went and I got my stencil. I have these circles in different sizes, and I found one that suited me, which was this one. And what I did is I have a product called Stencil Ease that I can spray on this. And you wait just a couple of minutes for it to dry and it sticks down, or you can certainly put some painter's tape on it. So I centered and I measured my moon, and then I got my favorite, I call it a pouncing brush. I don't know what it is. It's very, very stiff and sturdy. And I took some colors, some blues, DecoArt in the winter blue, DecoArt in the baby blue, and DecoArt in the pearl. And no pouring medium, put them on my paper plate in 3 little piles. And then I stuck my pouncing brush in it and started to pounce my moon. I started with the center with my blues, and as I worked my way out, I added some more pearl for the light side of the moon. And I grabbed a little bit of the obsidian, which is in my painting, and I tapped it over here for the dark side of the moon. And then I wait about a minute or two. Sometimes I pull out my blow dryer and just hit it with a little bit of heat to kind of let the paint set. And then I very carefully pull up my stencil. Now, sometimes the stencil will leak a little bit. So what I did then is I always save additional paints that are left over from the original pour, which was the Amsterdam lamp black, excuse me, the pollen. It affects my throat and my nose. The Amsterdam lamp black and the DecoArt Obsidian. And I came in and fixed some areas where my stencil had leaked a little bit. Now, I'm going to do a little bit more fixing. If you look down here where my tree trunk is, you can see here that I kind of painted in some of these cells so that they're not butted up against the trunk of my tree. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I will reshape these and move them away from the trunk of the tree so I have some more negative space. And every once in a while I increase the negative space. I'll go in with one of my liner brushes and the original paint that I used, which is the Amsterdam lamp black, and I can reshape or add a little bit more negative space in between those obsidian cells. So I apologize for not turning my camera on. I was so disappointed. I'm going to go in, I'm going to kind of finish my tree. I'm going to add a little bit more negative space, and then I'm going to work with a fan brush and another brush that I have, and I'm going to put some foliage on my tree. So that's where we're at, guys. Thanks for hanging with me. Let's get busy again.
monsters under your bed. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. You will grow up in the blink of an eye and move out and be on your own. But no matter what comes your way, I will stay right here beside you to catch you if you fall. And deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. Deep and abiding,